across West Africa right from the phone. Dial *156*1# and select international transfer to cross borders with Momo.
MTN.
Business Talk. In 1 hour 30 minutes, we provide listeners with up-to-date information and insights into various aspects of business and finance. We engage in insightful discussions with local and international business leaders, economists, entrepreneurs, and other professionals. Join Love FM 105.1 and Love TV Live this and every Saturday from 2 to 3:30 p.m. for the program Business Talk. Gain valuable insights into the world of business as we profile successful Liberian entrepreneurs in and out of Liberia as they provide business strategies, entrepreneurship, and financial planning. Business Talk, your one-stop shop in the world of business. It's on Love FM 105.1 every Saturdays, 2 to 3:30 p.m. Don't miss out.
The good book rightly said, lazy hands make a man poor, diligent hands bring him wealth. What a good way to start up the program, Business Talk, where we exchange ideas for the common good of our beloved country and our personal lives. It's where we set the agenda for your business strategies. We gave you an insight of how to begin whatever business you want to get involved with. It's not about you having the finances and getting involved in buying things and you say, oh yeah, I get my business. But you must put into place a systematic approach so that you can reap the fruit of your labor. Whatever it is, you must have the knowledge that's going to guide you through the business world. Without much ado, my name is Rufus Divine Cannon, and I'm humble as always to have the walking encyclopedia, the walking encyclopedia of marketing strategy. And when it comes to electrical, the energy world, he's versed in that area as well. He doesn't love people giving all those praises, but I need to do, like the saying goes, give a man his flowers while he's alive. I have with me my co-pilot, Mr. Alkina R. Phillips. He's there in the US. He's going to drill us through on the program today. Mind you, every edition we have a pop quiz. I hope you got your radio or whatever it is set. Make sure to share the show. Call a friend to tell a friend that indeed Business Talk is on Love FM 105.1 and other streaming platforms across the country. Joy, Africa, Amai Gibi, Smart, in Grand Jide, and other platforms are streaming and carrying live this broadcast. So wherever you are, share the show, invite a friend, get your copybook, get your pen, or whatever notepad, so that you get from the reservoir of knowledge. Mr. Philip, how you doing?
Good morning, Rufus. Thank you so much. Welcome everyone. Thank you once more to joining Business Talk. And it's a pleasure as always to be on the show, share the platform here with you, share the stage with you, and bring knowledge and understanding to our business community, not only in Liberia, but across the world through this powerful medium of StreamYard and Facebook. So once again, thank you so much, and welcome to everyone who are watching today. I added more people to the Business Talk group, so we can be more engaging and help not only Liberians but other people across the world to participate in this and to somebody saying we got echo. and so that everyone can really participate in this and gain some knowledge, some understanding to help them in their small business and to grow and be a major factor in whatever entrepreneurial business that they're seeking to do. So I'm happy that it is having an effect, and I'm urging everyone to please share the program, share this link across your Facebook page, invite most of your friends to join it. Thanks and hats off to Joy FM Africa to relaying the program through Margibi and also the other station up there in Granjida as well. This is an important thing that we're doing. And I think it's bearing fruits. I got some calls throughout the week, people telling me that they're really, really benefiting from this. They're really enjoying the discussion. It's non-political. It's just something it's substantive. This is good food, good ingredients. It's a great recipe that we put together, Rufus, and we'd like to know how you guys out there feel about the show. So if you can comment, put comments on the comment section wherever you are. We have an exciting show today, a show that will really pique your interest and help all of us to grow and be a major factor in our economy wherever we are, whether it's in the U.S., whether it's in Liberia, Nigeria, Ghana, wherever you are. We hope that this show will help to stimulate more ideas and help to grow your own small business as an entrepreneur, so that you would be a major factor. So let's get into it again. Once again, please share the link on your Facebook page. Let's get more listeners. Those who are able to listen live, those who are listening by way of FM radio across Montserrado County and Margibi counties and Bummy County, please, Bummy and Cape Mount and Margibi and other counties, Grand Bassa, please share the link on your Facebook page, and let's get ready for a great show today. How's everything going on your side, Rufus? Let's kind of engage in some small talk today. What's going on your side? How was the week after the independence celebration? How was the week after?
Well, through the special grace of God, we made it thus far. And like I always say, our waking up is not in our own strength, our own powers, but it's by the grace of God. So when you wake up in the morning, you see the dawning of a new day, and before you begin your day, you must say a word of prayer, regardless of your religious background. For us Christians, we need to do this because prayer keeps us moving. It adds more grace to us. It opens doors for us because there are a lot more challenges out there that before us, but by our prayers that we offered in the morning, before leaving our beds, before leaving our homes, it make every crooked path straight. So taking on to the week, it was quite interesting, lots of interesting developments. But through it all, we look forward to Liberia and Liberian minds being transformed. Like I always say, when the minds are developed, the eyes gonna appreciate the works of the hands. So it is a good thing. We've been following since we got into this business of educating people on business talk. We've been following lots of Liberians are getting keen interest in doing businesses, not just the hand to mouth, but going international. And they are doing extremely well. We only need to support each other because those who are the foreigners and making it, they are not extra. They are not from another planet. It's just the mindset and the will. If you have the willpower, the mindset, and putting all things in the hands of God, trust me, there are times we fail to understand that because when money start to come to us, we think that we are all to it. But guess what? There is a supreme being who guides you, who takes you through. There are people who have bad mentality, wanting to rob you all of your hard-earned labor that you place in a business, and you are excelling in your business, but they want to rob you through the prayers before you even put your business or open your shop or your business area, you say your word of prayer and giving thanks to God for sending customers your way. Even the Indians and the Lebanese, before they even open their shops or their stores, they do the waitress. And when they open, you see us in flood. But we as Liberians, we need to grab this concept. It is not our own strength nor our own power, but the grace that takes us through. We want to own our own economy. How do we go about that? We go about this by uniting ourselves. Like-minded, like you always say, we must have like-minded people on our team. Something that you cannot understand, that is giving you just don't feel proud and say, I will do it on my own. You have your competitors. Go and check out some of the things that got them succeeding. Ask questions. They say the screenshot that asks never misses the road. Ask question. Go. If you won't ask the person because they won't love to show you the secret, but go and experience how they do carry on their interaction with their customers. Get first-hand information. Don't sit back, because you're making the dollar, so you depend on people to do everything. Take up the time. Go to some of your competitors, how they carry on their customer service. Those are things that you can grab, you emulate, and add on to what you have, and our business will start to boom. It was interesting this week. I went to buy from somebody, and by that side of the place I went to buy, a lady who sells her little widow market. And this is where I come from with this, almost like I'm preaching. The lady took 30 minutes of her time. As soon as she placed her widow market down, did not open it. She prayed 30 minutes. I stood up. I was just looking. Prayed 30 minutes before she could open up. So I said, this woman must have a sense of reasoning. This woman must have some insight that God is the source of her existence, that God going to direct people to her business. So that's why she look up to him. It is not because she's beautiful or because of the material or the goods that she's about to sell that will attract people. You can have all of the beautiful things that you're selling, and others may have similar things, but people will get more attracted to your business because you are not alone. There is a supreme being that's going to guide you in the process.
That's a very today. As an entrepreneur, you've got to understand all of this. I mean, to everyone who's listening, as an entrepreneur, as a, what do you call yourself? An entrepreneur? You call yourself a business person? You call yourself a petty trader? Whatever definition you call yourself. The reality is, business people or entrepreneurs, whether you understand it, whether you know it, whether you've risen to that level of knowledge about yourself, we are people who operate in the spiritual. Why do I say that? Is because we believe in doing something that other people cannot see. Okay, so that's the nature, that's the characteristic, that is the key trait. Okay, that is the key makeup of an entrepreneur, of a business person. You operate in the spiritual. Why do I say that? Because the business that you see today is started off here. It started off in the mind. Somebody came up with an idea. They took that idea from their mind and they wrote it on the piece of paper as a business plan. And then that plan, they sat down with that plan and they put time and effort into that plan to bring that plan into being. And now the manifestation of that plan, right? The physical appearance of that plan is what you see today. You can walk into that store and buy the goods there. In fact, the goods that you're buying there, don't forget, they also originated from another business person who created, okay, who dreamt up that idea of making, fixing, molding, creating that product. And that's how that product ended up in that store for you to physically buy. So it's very interesting. You talk about this, the spiritual aspect of business, because it is essential for every entrepreneur, whether you believe or you don't believe. It is so important that you apply and that you add into your business every day the spiritual aspect of life, of how this idea came into being. Making that divine spiritual connection between yourself, your business, and the creator is so important. It's so paramount, because he is the one that formed the universe. He also formed you. He made all things into being. So if you don't make that divine heavenly connection, then how is it that things will flow from the spiritual realm to the physical realm for them to be made manifest upon the earth in your hands? So in order for you to actually possess things, you don't possess things physically first. You first possess them spiritually as a business person, and then that email or that text message is sent from that realm over to this realm, and boom, you see it being manifest before you over time. Okay, so as a business person, again, if no one told you, no one explained it to you, nobody educated you about it, that is the very nature of the business person. That is the very nature, the very makeup, the key characteristic of an entrepreneur. You are a truly spiritual person. That's where you do most of your work, in the spiritual, because you go out every day believing and trusting that you will receive customers, you will get sales, you will do what you need to do, so that someone, the Lord, the Father of our Lord, he would direct the steps of those customers towards you. Okay, so if you didn't know, if no one explained it to you, if maybe you didn't come to that understanding, well, you heard it here today on Business Talk. So that's the nature, that's the key characteristic of a business person, of an entrepreneur. The second key characteristic of an entrepreneur, since you brought up that topic, Rufus, let me expand upon it, is creativity. Creativity is a fundamental part of the makeup. Okay, it's a characteristic. It's a trait of the entrepreneur, being creative. And being creative as a business person will set you apart from all of the other business people. The business person, the businessman, the businesswoman, the entrepreneur, right, who spends time, invests in separating themselves, meditating, right, and focusing on your plans in the realm of the spirit, and how to get them from there, and praying that the resources you need will be divinely provided to you, so that you can bring that which you believe and you have faith in, right, into manifestation. So again, creativity is a very, very important aspect of the business person. Now, don't get it twisted. Now, don't make the mistake that, cut and paste, right? Cut and paste. What do I mean by cut and paste? You see somebody doing something, okay, well, you know what, since I see Peter doing it, I can go and jump and do it. No, cut and paste, copy or duplicating. What you need to understand as a business person, what you see that is succeeding today took that person a long period of time for them to bring it into manifestation. There was effort, there was prayer, there was diligence, there was tenacity. There was hard work, there's sweat. There's pain, there's tears, all of that in that. So you can't just see something and wake up the next morning and say, well, I'm going to copy that and I'll start doing the same thing. And start. No. It doesn't work that way. So creativity is a very, very important part and very essential part of an entrepreneur's success and an entrepreneurial makeup. And then cut and paste or copying or duplicating somebody else's ideas, one thing you need to understand as business people, when you copy or paste other people's ideas, one thing you need to understand is that what that person put in that business plan, whether it's 250 pages or 500 pages, is not even 1% of what is up here. So they were only able to convey, right, a limited portion of it onto paper or onto a pen drive or by email, a PDF document, or Word document. That's only 10%. That's only 10% of what is up here. So if you think you would just take the person's business plan, photocopy it, and change the front cover, change the back cover, put your name in there, and then submit it, you may get the money. But let's see how you will bring it into manifestation, because the most intricate parts of it, the person that even put it on the paper, they retain it here. So when they start to walk in that, then that's where the spiritual connection comes in to direct their steps to make sure, because the scripture also say the path of a good man is what? Is ordered by the Lord. So you can't copy and paste. You know, last time I checked, duplicating somebody else's idea, the last time I checked, it's called stealing. So you can't steal somebody else's idea and expect to be blessed by it. No, God doesn't bless theft. No, he frowns on it. You are also a creative being. You are also a creative person. Spend time, put time into your business, put time into your plans, put time into your dreams, into your aspirations. Seek the help. One of the things that my wife always tells me, she learned it from one of her other, business associations. And it was very, very lightly. She said that everyone is a resource. Everyone is a resource. So when you're looking to get into business, make a list. Get a sheet of paper. Sit down, make a list. Draw a line down the middle and put all your lists on your friends. What kind of a resource are they? Are they going to be an asset, or are they going to be a liability? Then you cross them out. If they're a liability, cross them out. If they're an asset, put them on the other side. Because again, it's all about building a team. So I think today, those are just few points. Since Rufus was the one, he's the pilot, and I'm just the co-pilot. So when he puts in the GPS and say we're going left, I just have to turn the plane. So he started the conversation with the spiritual aspect of being into business. So I'm just following him. But that's the key. That's the key. You look at all nations today, right? You look at all of the different nations and different countries around the world that have great economies, and very successful in their economic development, their infrastructure development. All of those countries, those nations, what did they do? They focus on developing a short, medium, and long-term development plan. And they identify all of how to invest in education so that the folks coming out of schools and universities will be able to participate in that development plan. And then they also strategically look at their quote unquote, their aid partners, what role those aid partners will play in that plan. Don't just come and say, we have this for you. No, hang on. Let's see what it is that you have for us will play an important part in what our growth and development plan is and strategy is for the future. Don't just bring something and drive it and throw it on the table and we'll just accept it. No, it must be part of our development and economic growth plan so that it will feed our future and our destiny. And those are important things that we need to focus on. So that is what, planning does for the business person. And again, I mean, you look at companies, you look at, businesses, small, medium, large businesses, everybody is operating in that spiritual realm. Even for me, my boss tells me at the end of every year, every January, every one of us who are into the sales, business development and marketing area, all of us have a 1 hour time slot where you come in and your boss sits there and you must present what your plan is for the next year. Even as I'm going through my 2024, I'm also planning and scheduling and designing my plan and my strategy for growth for 2025. So again, that plan, that presentation is what? It's a spiritual presentation of what I believe I will be able to accomplish in the next year. So as a business person, as an entrepreneur, it is so important that you dwell on the spiritual aspect of your success, because it plays an important role in how you will succeed, because the physical manifestation only takes place. It only takes place. It's a cause and effect. You need to understand that if you don't receive it spiritually, you would not be able to possess it physically. So that's why your planning, your prayer, and all of your meditation plays an important part in your success as a business person, because that's who you are. You are a creative person. You think, you analyze, you strategize, and you maximize your resources. You make the right contacts and the right connections so that your ultimate success will be predicated upon that divine connection that will make all of that happen for you. Okay. So let's take a short little break here, Rufus, if you want to play our song for today, our Buka song. I love this song, and the reason I love this song, I told Rufus today, he didn't even make the connection. But we all love this song, Buka, by Captain Kiss Daniel. And one thing I like about the song is, he tells you to go low, 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 right? So going low, that's the seed. You're planting your seed low, 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 low into the ground. And then what happens? You start to rise, and ultimately you become a buka, right? So you come up and you do your arms like this. That's when you finally grow, you prosper, you expand. Why? Because you went low to plant your seed, and then you came up and you grew over time, and finally you became a what? You became a buka. So let's hit this song for a couple of seconds here. Let's enjoy the song so all the business people can enjoy. Don't forget, share the link, and then when we come back, we'll get right into the meat of the program today. Hit it, my pilot. Let's do it.
Let me get. Let me get it, Judge. You serious about this one? He's so serious. Oh my God! Let me get it. So let me get it so quickly. If I fall into trouble. What is not? Oh, there's no one for me. Oh, let me get it. So let me be rolling out this before I get this.
MTN mobile money now to again for the first time in Liberia. You can send money from your phone straight to Africa, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Guinea, Uganda, Rwanda, Mali, and Senegal. No more stressing on how you will send your children's school fees to Rwanda, or your market money to Guinea, or even order your goods from Ghana. Momo is now across borders, so just dial *156*1#, select international transfer, and follow the instructions.
Send money instantly and conveniently across West Africa right from the phone. Dial *156*1#, and select international transfer to cross borders with Momo.
MTN.
Wake up, get the moolah. Wake up, bonito color. Don't walk it, don't try. Supposed to be jai. Kill for me for person we don't mind. Boy, when I land softly on the sofa. So good, money back down. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see.
Okay. So today, so today we finally understand the key essence of that song. So in order for you to be a buka, you must plant and you must go low, because you as a seed, you got to go low, plant, and now you then rise, and as you rise, you become a buka, and that's the essence of it. So today, let's get into the meat of the program today. In fact, let's do what we talked about, Rufus. Let's see here. Let's see who's going to be a winner today. Let's give a short pop quiz. I'm going to give 2 questions today on our pop quiz. 2 questions today on our pop quiz, and each of these questions are worth $10 today. Last week we talked about 21 skills that you will learn as a business person. We talked about 21 skills last week, and I listed an entire show was all about those 21 skills. So what we're going to do today is we're going to ask. I'm going to ask you for 2 points. Who can remember point number 5 in the 21 skills? Please put it in the chat, or if you're not listening, or if you're not streaming, you can pick up the phone and you can call in. Rufus will put the phone numbers on there and I will call it out. Point number 5 and point number 15. Point number 5 and point number 15 from last week. So that's the question. Those are the 2 questions for today. Last week, we went over 21 skills as a business person that you will learn, and you may or may not learn them in a classroom, but you will ultimately come to that understanding that these are 21 skills that will make you successful. Okay. So point number 5 and point number 15. So if you got those answers, put it up on the chat. Yeah, put it up on the chat, and then what we will do, you can call in. The telephone numbers to call in those who are listening on the air, 0887 105105. Call these numbers. Do not call your local radio station if you're in Grand Jita or you're in Kakata or you're in Habel or wherever. Make sure you call Love FM, 0887 105105, and the other number on Orange is 0778 665073. 0778 665073. So if you have the answer for number 5 and for number 15, then you can call in, or you can put the answer on the chat. Once the answer comes in the chat, we'll withdraw the question. Okay, so we got 2 answers here, Rufus. You want to read it out? Let's go.
Hello.
Yes,
Yes. Yeah, how you doing?
Wonderful. What's your name?
My name is Leon Pogo.
So what are those points?
Yeah, point number 5. The ability to adapt, the ability to improvise, and the ability to overcome obstacles.
The ability to adapt, the ability to
improvise,
and
and the ability to overcome obstacles.
the ability to overcome obstacles. All right, just listen up, okay?
All right.
he is correct.
So all 3 of them correct.
Yeah. He got so the echo. Okay. Yes, he got that question correct. So please get his name and his number. And I would really like to know where he's calling from. So that answer was correct. Point number five was the ability to adapt as a business person, the ability to improvise as a business person, and the ability to overcome obstacles as a business person. And let's see here on the chat, we see Mr. C. Eloysius Nick Nukes Ganio. Okay. So he is saying that point number 15 is the ability to self-analyze. He is correct. The ability to self-analyze as a business person. And that's where your time comes in. You meditate. You at the end of the day, we talked about as a business person, at the end of the day, you sit down, you review, you analyze your mistakes for the day, your progress for the day, your success for the day, and then you do self-analysis and you do self-correction so that the next day you don't make those same mistakes, and you can then help to achieve your goal. Very good listening. Don't forget, everybody, we got a pop quiz every Saturday and a chance to win $10 US. So please make sure Mr. C. Eloysius Nukes Ganio and the caller Rufus, please get his number. And C. Eloysius, please put your number in the chat box so that you will be able to get your $10 US as well. So let's go.
What about how to call him, sir? He also, or he was not in time. Jusu, right? Jusu also answer. Let me get.
So we'll add him as a winner as well. Because he got the first one, but the caller, we got to give a caller an opportunity, and we got to get the people online. Thank you, C. Eloysius. Thank you for listening. So let everybody pay attention, because this is something that's adding on, building, and helping we as a nation to succeed, to grow, to expand, and to boost our economy. It's so important that all of us participate. So let's get into the topic for today. The topic for today has to do with small business. Small business, the role of small business in the Liberian economy or in the economy of any country around the world. The role of small business, okay? Small business. So let's talk about small business for a second. So we all know that the greatest part, or maybe we do know, maybe we do not know, but the greatest part of every nation's economy, the biggest portion of every nation's economy is small business. It's small business. Okay. Small business is the biggest part of every nation's economy. So whether you know it, whether you understand it, whether you believe it or not, it doesn't matter, because small business makes up the largest segment of every nation's economy. And today I will prove it, because we'll go over some statistics about the U.S. economy that I found online and the role that small business plays. So today, what I want us to do is I want to take a sheet of paper and then draw a line down the middle so we can kind of go over a couple of things. Small business, again, point number one, small business makes up the what? The largest segment of every nation's economy. What do we define as small business? The petty traders. The petty traders. What do we define as petty traders? All of the, like Rufus said earlier, he went to buy something and the lady was sitting there. Oma was sitting there, or lady was sitting there. She had her business. Before she even opened, she spent 30 minutes to pray on her business. She's a petty trader. That's a small business. All of the money changers, all of the electrical contractors, the guys who install the satellite TVs, the guys who do the low contract plumbing for your air conditioning, all of the guys who are on the side of the road selling in all of their small kiosks. All of those people make up small business. They're all defined as small business. Then you have all of the guys who are doing small IT contracts. They're setting up routers and setting up hotspots using Orange or Lone Star modems. All of the guys who operate, men and women who operate as IT consultants, they're small business. All the people who are doing the transport business, the motorbike riders, the pen riders, as we call them, the keke riders, the taxi drivers, the pickup drivers, the truck drivers, all of those people are defined and categorized as small business. So when you look at Liberia, you look at Ghana, you look at Nigeria, you look at Guinea, you look at the US, the greatest portion of every nation's economy is small business. The small business people make the biggest portion. But then we need to understand number two. The point number two is if the small businesses make up the largest segment of a nation's economy, then we must agree that the largest amount of revenue, right? Revenue, profitability is where? Is in the small business segment, because they make up the largest portion of the economy. So that means that transactional sales and revenue in that segment make up the biggest portion, because they're the biggest portion of the economy. And so that means also point number three, the largest number of jobs are created where? In the small business segment of every nation's economy. But now point number four is this: the engine of the small business segment of the economy that will help it to grow, to expand, to increase, to help small businesses to go from being small business to medium businesses, to ultimately become big businesses, is electricity. So we're back to electricity. So electricity is the key ingredient, is the key empowerment, is the key energizer for the small business community, because small businesses, they will grow, they will expand, they will propel themselves forward, they will increase, and they will be able to be promoted to the next level when they're energized, when they're empowered by electricity. So we're back to this electricity again. We're not going to go politics. We're just going to focus on the essence of why electricity is so important to the empowerment and the expansion and the growth of the small business segment or sector of the economy. So when you look at Liberia, let's just talk about Liberia, for example, for today. And point number five, so we said the largest segment of every nation's economy is small business. Number two, small business is the engine of every economy. The largest number of jobs are created in that segment. And the largest number of transactional revenue on a daily basis takes place where? In the small business segment. So it's important to recognize the role that you as a money changer, you as an intellectual center owner, or you as even the guys who repair tires on the side of the road. All of those guys are small businesses. The young guys who are selling their gasoline in the mayonnaise jar or in the gallons. All of those guys all are categorized, defined as small business. So it's important for you to understand today the role that you as a small business play in the economy of the Republic of Liberia, or the Federal Republic of Nigeria, or that of Ghana, or wherever else. Even in the US, even in the great United States of America, small business plays a very important role in the nation's economy. So I'll read off a couple of points here. Small businesses employ nearly half of the American workforce and represent 43.5% of America's GDP. So just imagine that. For as great and as large, immense, enormous as the US economy is, small businesses employ, nearly half of the American workforce. So that is a very, very important fact to understand. So, and the reason why I'm bringing up those points is not so much to talk about America, but it's to also for us to be able to draw the comparison back to Liberia. So when you look at Liberia as a whole, you look across every county. You come to realize that even from Margibi, you go to Upper Margibi, Lower Margibi, you go to Grand Bassa, you go to Grand Chita, you go to Maryland, whatever county you go to, you need to understand that the economy in every county within the Republic of Liberia, the largest segment of that county's economy is small business. The money changers, the taxi drivers, the pamper riders, the truck drivers, the ladies in the market, the folks who are doing money changing, selling scratch cards, they make up the largest portion of that county's economy. So when you add all of that up across every county in Liberia, what do you end up with? You end up where on the piece of paper, you realize that the small businesses in every county make up the largest portion of the nation's economy. But how will this economy, how will this segment of the economy that accounts for more than 50% of the nation's economy, how will they grow? How will they expand? How will they increase? How will they be able to promote themselves to the next level without electricity, which is the empowerment of not only big business? Today, we're not going to talk about big business. We're going to compare small business to big business. So energy, electricity is the stimulant. It is the empowerment that stimulates even more growth within the small business segment. So let me continue reading. So again, small businesses in the United States of America employ nearly half of the American workforce and represent, write this down, 43.5%. Now, last time I checked, if we round up 43.5 to 44, that's only what? 6 points, 6 percentage points from 50%. So that tells you that almost 50% of the GDP of the United States of America, the USA, is made up by what? By small business. By small business. And then it also tells you in this first sentence that nearly half, right, of all of the American workforce from California to New York, from Florida to Washington State and Alaska and Hawaii, but is made up of what? Small business. So the majority of people in the US work for what? Work for small business. So this is what we also have to understand. We need to understand the role that small business plays in every economy of every country. So if we as Liberians want to move from where we are to where we desire and want to be, we need to understand the role that small business plays in stimulating the economic growth, in creating jobs. And then what we need to do as a people is to empower the small business segment of the economy with electricity that they so desperately need, so that they will be able to truly bring about transformation for empowerment, and that will lead to a better country, a better nation. Okay. The next sentence here says that what? Small business are a critical part of the U.S. economic ecosystem, where big businesses and small businesses are vendors, suppliers of material, employees, partners, and customers to each other. So this is what they call interdependency. There's an interdependent nature, okay, relationship, okay, that exists between big businesses and small businesses. And I'll prove it to you. So let's look in the case of the two big mobile phone companies in Liberia, okay, Orange and MTN. And ask yourself, let's ask ourselves today, you can put an answer on the chat. Where would MTN or Orange be today if it's not for the Scratch Card Boys or the Money Changers? Can anybody put them? Just take that question. Where would MTN and Orange be today as mobile operators in the Republic of Liberia if it had not been, or if it is not for the Money Changers, the Scratch Card Boys, and the Pang Pang Riders? Let's just put that. I mean, just those two people, those two major companies, right? They're very big businesses, so we don't consider them small business. They're big business. They're two big businesses. They basically run the entire Liberian economy. Don't be fooled. The two greatest entities in Liberia that run the economy is MTN and Orange. But where would they be as a company today if it's not for the Scratch Card Boys, the Money Changers, okay, and all of those who participate as small business people selling their scratch cards and their credits? So this is the confirmation of this statement. It is the confirmation of this statement. And the statement says, don't forget, small business are critical. Small business are a critical part of the Republic of Liberia's economic ecosystem, where big businesses, Mittal, Firestone, Orange, MTN, Golden Beryllium, LAC, you name it, all the big companies, right? Okay, where the big businesses, so that's why I gave you the piece of paper. So you write the big businesses on the left-hand side, and then you write the small businesses on the left-hand side, right? Big business on the left, small businesses on the right, okay? And then you come to realize that this statement, that the small businesses are a critical part of Liberia's economic ecosystem, where big businesses, the Firestone, the Mittals, and all of the big businesses, right? Lone Star, MTN, that I took as an example, the banks, and what? And small businesses are what? They are vendors, they are employees, they are partners, and they are customers to each other. So there is an interdependent relationship between the big businesses and the small businesses, where each one feeds on the other. Each one feeds on the other. So it is so important, it is so critical to understand, to know the role that small business plays in the growth, the expansion, the acceleration, and the promotion of the Liberian economy. Because you can't create jobs in the economy if you don't create them in a small business segment, because the small business segment creates the most amount of jobs. So right here, for as great as America is, right? We all say America is the greatest country on the earth, okay? But then don't forget this fact, that small businesses, for as great as America is, the great American economy, small businesses employ nearly half of the American workforce and represent 43.5% of America's GDP. So let's stop on that statement and just ask ourselves, how does that statement apply to Liberia? What role do you think, or what percentage of the workforce in the Republic of Liberia, right, is made up of small business? What role does small business play in the employment numbers in the Republic of Liberia? You come to understand that when you drive from red light, you go to on Japan Highway, Somalia Drive. By the time you get to Freeport, you realize there are way more small businesses on the road than there are big businesses. So again, this is truth. These are facts. This is data. So in that interdependent relationship between small business and big business is something that fuels the economy. But the big challenge for the small business is that the lack of electricity, the lack of energy, doesn't allow them to grow the natural growth, go through the natural growth process from being a petty business or small business to become a medium-sized business and then becoming a large business. Energy, electricity is what fuels, is what empowers the small business to push them, to move them. All of our mothers went through what? They went through a birthing process. All of us, we were conceived in the womb, and then we went through a 9-month period of growth, and then they had to do what? They had to birth us, right? By pushing us through to the womb for us to be who we are today. So this is the same process that small businesses have to go through, and that empowerment that helps them to grow through the birthing process so that they will grow to become bigger companies, to play a major role, create more jobs, hire more people, introduce transformation in the Liberian economy, can only be done with the provision of electricity. Electricity is an important part, must be and has to be an important part of what stimulates the growth for the small business segment. Okay, so let's talk about this. So the statistics here say 99.9% of small businesses in the U.S., 99.9% of businesses in the U.S. are what? Are small businesses. I've got a split screen, so I'm reading these. This is statistics. I'm reading this from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. These are not my facts. No, I'm reading this from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. So that means when you apply this to Liberia, so this is the comparison that we're doing today. You've got Liberia in your left hand, and you got the U.S. in your right hand. So if as big as an economy as the U.S. is, that 99.9% of businesses in these United States are small businesses. So what do you think the percentage is in Liberia? What's the percentage of businesses in Liberia that are small business? So that tells you how important small business play, the role that small business plays in a developing economy like Liberia. Let's look at the next fact. 33.2 million small businesses in the US, okay? There are 33.2, okay? There are 33.2 million small businesses in the US, okay? So this is important. This is important to understand, okay? And I'm going to read something here. It says, since the late 1990s, small businesses have accounted for between 43.5 and 50.7% of the U.S. gross domestic product, GDP, which equates to trillions of dollars of economic activity, okay? In 2014, the most recent data available, small businesses generated, write this down, nearly 5.9 trillion, not million, not billion, trillion, $5.9 trillion. By comparison, there we go. Now we got it. By comparison, large businesses generated 7.7 trillion to the national generated $7.7 trillion to the national GDP that same year. So just imagine that. $5.9 trillion, right, in 2014 to the GDP of the US. In 2014, $5.9 trillion by small businesses. And by comparison, large businesses generated what? $7.7 trillion. So you do the math, you subtract 5.9 trillion from 7.7 trillion, and you see the difference. You see the difference. You see the difference. You see the difference right there. So it tells you the role that small business plays in every economy. And that's why small business in Liberia has to be, must be, and should be at the forefront and the driving force of our economy. That is what will bring the transformation, okay, in our country, in every county, but it has to be empowered. It has to be enabled by the presence, the availability, and the supply of energy, electricity, whether it's from solar, whether it's from the hydro, whether it's from Transco CLSG. Empowerment of small business must be, should be, has to be done, because that will be what will accelerate and promote and move this nation forward to create the jobs that we need. So let's go to the next point. It says 45.9% of Americans are employed by small business. 45.9% of Americans today are employed by small business. So just imagine that. So then apply that to Liberia. What percentage of Liberians today are employed by big business or small businesses? So again, you see that small businesses in Liberia play a very important role. That's why small businesses must be empowered by electricity and energy so that they will be able to play a very, very, dominant role in the economy. Okay. Let's go to the next point. 61.6 million Americans are employed by small business. Okay. So we talked about the percentage first. 45.9% of all Americans are employed by small businesses. And then it tells you that that number breaks down to 61.6 million Americans employed by small business. And then it tells, let me read this statement. The majority of small businesses, 82%, operate without employees, and those small employers who hire staff employ nearly half of the American workforce. Leading industries for small businesses include professional and business services, financial activities, and wholesale and retail trade, boasting 3.5 to over 7 million businesses within each sector. So again, think about it. Okay, let's break it down. Let me break that down to the Liberian setting. So you have a hotel. So let's go back to MTN and Orange. Let's go to MTN and Orange. I think somebody put a comment on here that let's go to. I think when I asked that question, Mr. Rufus Delbo answered and said that they would have gone they wouldn't have gone anywhere, or they wouldn't have gone that far. So the small business. So let's just take the two telecom companies today: MTN, Lone Star, and Orange. If you look at their businesses, the sell of the scratch card, the top of the data, whatever the case is, the scratch card guys and the money changer guys all across this country play a very, very important role, okay, in the success of MTN and Orange in Liberia. They play a very important role. If you remove the scratch card boards, if you remove the money changers, if you remove the mobile money booths, if you remove the forest bureaus, if you remove all of them from that process, what do you think will happen to MTN and Orange? What do you think will happen to them? Their sales numbers will approach zero. They will drastically collapse because they play a very important role as small businesses to support the big business. And that's what we call the interdependent coexisting relationship within the ecosystem of the Liberian economy. Okay, so you can let's apply it to a hotel. You can have a big 75 or 100 bedroom hotel in Kakata, for example. But again, that hotel can't feed itself. It can't feed itself. You just for the kitchen, just for the restaurant, you need small business people who will provide what? The meat, the fish, the vegetables every day to support just the whole feeding or the food section or the restaurant section of the hotel. So small businesses, that relationship between small businesses and the big business is what we call an ecosystem. There's an interdependent relationship there that where one supports the other. But again, when you look at the big picture, you see that the big business can afford electricity, whereby the smaller businesses cannot. So it doesn't support the growth of the small businesses so that they will become a bigger business in the future. So let's go to the next point. Let me just bring this back up on the screen here. So the next point there, it goes through different graphs here. And basically what it talks about is that, let's look at it. Listen to this. Listen very carefully. Entrepreneurship is booming in the United States of America. And I can also say what? Entrepreneurship is where? Is booming in the Republic of Liberia. Over the past few years, the number of applications filed to start new businesses have surged, have increased. Application numbers doubled in 2020 compared to previous years, and the trend has continued with over 5 million new business applications filed annually since 2020. So just imagine 5 million new applications filed annually. So if you say 2020, we're in 2024. So you count this 4 years. 5 times 4 is 20. So that means 20 million new businesses have been added. And we can also say the same thing. If somebody who works at the Registrar General can pick up the phone and call in today, they would confess, they would testify, they would confirm my point that there are more new applications for new businesses to be registered at the Registrar General every day and every week and every month of this year. The number of small businesses is increasing in the Republic of Liberia proportionally. But the thing is, without the availability of electricity, energy, right, to empower those small businesses, to move them up the ladder so that when they plant their seed, like we say in the Buka song, right, when they plant their seed, then what electricity is what empowers them to rise and grow to become what they need to be. Okay, let's look at the next point. As of April 2024, 1.75 million applications have already been filed this year. You see it now? Just this year alone, as of April, we're in August. So as of April 2024, this is from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, 1.75 million applications have already been filed this year, 2024 alone. So let's ask ourselves on the Liberia side, how many new applications have been filed at the Registrar General for new businesses, for small businesses in the Republic of Liberia? How many have been, if they can't even get to the Registrar General in Monrovia, how many have been filed in Bombay? How many new businesses have started in Bombay, have started in Cape Town, have started in Bapaloo, in Lofa, so forth and so on. So we see that small businesses are being created every day. So what's creating, let's talk about this now. Let's go to the next point. What's creating all of this small business? What's creating all of this small business? What's creating all of this small business is what? Is the inherent nature of us Liberians to be business people. We're entrepreneurs by our very nature. So we see all of the different people doing different things. We come to realize that the economy is not creating jobs, okay? Because of the lack of energy, the lack of electricity to stimulate growth in the economy. So we understand that. So what do? We say, you know what? Let's look at the numbers. So let's go deep into the numbers. Liberia receives in remittance. Remittance basically means mobile money, right? Money that comes through Sendwave, money that comes through Western Union, money that comes through MoneyGram, money that comes through, I think, Nobel, okay? Money that comes through bank wires, right? Person-to-person transfer. Write this down. Liberia receives almost $350 million a year. 350 million. $350 million a year comes into Liberia. Person to person, be it from the EU, be it from Canada, be it from the US and other parts of the world, being fed into that economy, person to person. That means I can pick up the phone and I can send money directly to somebody. Somebody else can pick up the phone in Canada, in the US, in any part of Europe, and send money directly to their friend, their brother, their sister, their loved ones in Liberia. So if we're getting, right, if all of us in Liberia, we're getting $350 million a year in person-to-person transfer and remittances. This is what's fueling the small business. But at the same time, don't forget now, in that Liberian market, in that Monrovia market, you have so many other business people looking at that money. They're looking at that $350 million and say, okay, you know what? This money is coming in every minute on the clock. Every minute someone is sending money to somebody's phone. And once that person gets the money, they have to go to a small business money changer guy, right? Or a mobile money center or a forest bureau to withdraw that money. And then what? And then go and spend it. So all the big business people are looking at that money. So there's a fight for that money. Our national budget, if you look at our national budget and you compare the national budget that was passed this year, and you compare that budget to the remittances, you'll see that that number is close to almost 50% of the national budget. I didn't say it's 50%. I say it's close to 50%. So that tells you, separate from government spending, this is direct cash that comes into the economy. So this is where I, in the US, can say, you know what, my sister called me and say, hey, you know, brother, look, things are hard and I need money. I said, you know what, I'm going to make a one-time investment. I'm not going to send you money every day. Put together a business plan, get it over to me. And if it's $500, I'll invest the money. You build your business and you go, and that will be able to provide for you and your family. So that's where all of this money is coming from. So the question now for all of us who are listening to this, small business people in Liberia, have you put a plan together so you can communicate to your sister, your brother in the US, so that they will invest in a plan that will be able to help you to grow, to expand, to provide for yourself and your family? And you go from a petty business, small business, to become a bigger business in the future. This is the key. So small business, we understand today, play a very important role in the Liberian economy. We create the most number of jobs. We're the biggest part of the economy. And there's $350 million in remittance that comes into the population every year. And the question now is, how are we Liberians in Liberia developing the plan that small business people to communicate with our loved ones and our relatives in the diaspora to make sure that they can support our plans. Nobody in the US or Canada in the diaspora is going to support an empty plan. So that's part of you being a business person. You got to do your plan, share with your sister or your brother, communicate with them, convince them of the plan with data and information in whatever segment of the business you want to get into, so that they will become a partner with you in your business, so that you will become a vibrant part of the Liberian economy in the small business segment. Okay, so now let's do a comparison now. So we talk about all the small business, we talk about all the different points on the U.S. economy and the role of small business in the U.S. economy. So let's talk about Liberia for a second. So the question now becomes, why, if the small business accounts for the largest number of jobs in the Liberian economy, and the small business accounts for the greatest segment of the Liberian economy, why is it that the small business segment of the Liberian economy that accounts for the largest number of jobs, the largest number of revenue transactions every day, and the largest number of participants in that sector, why is this segment of the Liberian economy that is so large, so enormous, so gigantic, so big, not having the dominant effect? Let's ask ourselves that question. Can anybody on the message tell me, why is it, if the small business segment of the Liberian economy creates the largest number of jobs, is the biggest segment of the Liberian economy, and is transacting in revenue the largest portion in terms of dollars in the Liberian economy every day or every week and every month and every year, why is it that this segment of the economy is not having a greater impact on the Liberian economy? Why is it? Why is it? I really want somebody to put a message up on here, put it up on WhatsApp. Why is it that this dominant segment of the economy is not having an impactful, or is not playing an impactful role in the Liberian economy today? Why is it? You're the largest. You transact the largest amount of revenue every month or every year in the economy. You create the largest number of jobs in the economy. In terms of numbers, you have, in terms of numbers and quantity, you have the largest number of companies. Why is it that you're not so impactful? Why is it that you're not making an impact? Why is it that you're not playing the role you're supposed to play? And I'll bring it back. And now and since nobody has answered, I guess everybody's paying attention. It's all because of, you remember these 10 points? Everybody remember the 10 points? The 10 points we talked about: must have passion, knowledge, must have experience, set specific goals, have a vision, create a mission statement, a master plan, build a team, must have accountability, have a positive work environment. That's why. These are 10 reasons why the small business segment of the Liberian economy is not making the impact on the economy that it should be making. Right? So let's the electricity, and these 10 points plus the lack of electricity. Let me put it that way. The lack of electricity, right, plus these 10 points are the reasons why the small business segment of the Liberian economy is not as impactful in this nation's future. They're not in the present. They're not making the impact. They're not making the move. They're not bringing about the transformation. And that's the reason why. The reason is, one, the lack of electricity, and these 10 points. So for many small businesses, they just get up and start the business. And where's the passion? Number one, where's your passion? Number two, where's your knowledge? Number three, where's your experience? Number four, where are your specific goals? Number five, where's your vision for your business? Number six, create a mission statement. Number seven, master plan. Number 8, team. Number 9, accountability. Number 10, positive work environment. Number 11, lack of electricity. So the issue here is that the small businesses have not put into place, have not put into place these 10 points that will help them to what? To become transformational. So if you're just doing a business for the sake of doing the business, you have the numbers, you're the largest segment of the Liberian economy. Number two, you create the largest number of jobs. Number three, you transact the largest number of cash every month, but you're not making an impact. And what it means, write this down, it simply means that the small Liberian businesses are inefficient, unproductive, and thereby they're unprofitable. And that's the reason why they're not making the impact. You're the largest in terms of numbers. You have the largest number, you create the largest number of jobs. Okay. And you also transact the largest number of volume in terms of cash or revenue every month. But you're ineffective. You're unorganized. You're unproductive. You're inefficient. And thereby, at the end of the day, when you do your balance sheet, you're unprofitable. You're not generating the profits that will help you to grow, aside from the electricity. Because electricity, if you have to generate your own electricity, that's going to eat up all of your profits. Okay. Rufus T. Delbo put on here, one factor can be the high taxes government apply on bigger businesses also affect the small businesses of playing their roles in the economy. To some effect, Rufus. But for the most part, if the small business is ineffectively run, doesn't have proper accounting, and they're inefficient, right? Then what happens? You're unproductive. And if you're unproductive, how then can you be profitable? You're not profitable because you have not gone by the 10 things that we give you, okay? The 10 things that we've given you. You have not done them, followed them, carried them out, perfected them, studied them, and implemented them so that you can produce the fruits. So that's the reason why small businesses, for as many as there are in the Republic of Liberia, in Nigeria, in Ghana, wherever, right? Okay. The lack of electricity, one. The numbers, in terms of quantity, in terms of dollars transacted every day, every week, every month. And then also you create the largest number of jobs. You're not having the effect. Let's look at Kakata, for example. Let's look at Kakata. In Kakata, there are not even more than probably 10 big businesses in Kakata by Liberian standards. There are not even 10 big businesses in Kakata. Remove the banks. Remove the banks. Because the bank branches, they're there. Okay, they have employees. But there are not even 10 big businesses in Kakata. But guess what? Kakata runs, the entire Kakata economy, Upper Margibi, runs on what? Small businesses. The market women, the money changers, the forest bureau, the small cyber cafes, the scratch card guys, the pempe riders, the keke riders, the taxi drivers, the kobo shop. All those small businesses, they run the Kakata Upper Margibi's economy. They run the economy. They run the economy every day and every night. The nightclubs, the entertainment centers, the intellectual center, those small businesses, they run the Kakata economy because they're in greater numbers. But the problem is, the reason why they're not having the rightful effect is because they're inefficient, they're unproductive, and they don't have proper accounting for all of their daily sales, weekly sales, their operational costs, admin costs, transportation costs. They're not doing proper what we call accounting. So they're not properly accountable to themselves. So at the end of the day, all of that inefficiency, lack of productivity, lack of planning, lack of organizing, guess what? You end up unprofitable. And then all of a sudden you die a slow death. You die a slow death as a business. So that is why we're doing business talk, so that we can teach, we can educate, we can enlighten, we can help the small Liberian businesses and those small businesses across the world plug in, listen, learn, and what? And ultimately grow. Energy, I can't affect energy. All we can do, we can talk about it, and that's a government issue. They will lead on that. They will direct on that. They will apply the policies, the programs, and they will address that. But at the end of the day, You as a small business, your responsibility is to go by these 10 points, pay attention to the show, learn so that you will grow, remove your inefficiencies, everything that is unproductive for your business, get rid of it. Everything that's causing your business to be inefficient, get rid of it. Everything that's causing your business to be problematic and to be unprofitable, get rid of it. Cut it out, get rid of it, because it will affect your profitability. And if you're not profitable as a business, no one is going to constantly invest in something that is unprofitable, and you will ultimately die as a business. You will ultimately die. It's just a matter of time. So you need to address it. So when you compare it now, right? Let's compare so on the left-hand side, we have all of these big businesses, the Mittal, the Equatorial Palm, the Golden Beryllium, the Firestones, the Lax, the list goes on. All the big businesses on the left-hand side of the paper. On the right-hand side, we've got thousands of small Liberian businesses, from Maryland County to Kitma County, from Montserrado up to Nimba, up to Lofa. We've got thousands upon thousands of small businesses. Well, let's look at it. The big businesses have these 10 points down. This is what they go by. They live by it. This becomes almost like their Bible. This is almost like their Bible. You get hired to a new company, there's a process. You got to apply. You got to submit your CV to make sure that you're competent to be part of their team. Next thing, which department you're going to be adding to. Then that person has to interview you. You get in there, you must go through what? You must go through a training process so that you're properly trained and educated to the ways of them doing. And then guess what? When you finally join the team, if you can produce in 90 days, they get rid of you. Because you're causing, when a company hires you, when they hire you and they bring you on, you need to understand that you are what we call an expense. You are an expense on the balance sheet. So they will invest in you with the hope that you will go from being an expense to being a profitable part of the team, that you will contribute to the team, and you will start making money for that company. No company wants to keep somebody who is an expense. They want to what? They want an asset. They don't want a liability. So that is the same thing with you as a small business. Everything that takes away from your efficiency, get rid of it. So that's today's show. Thank you so much. And I see that Mr. Rufus is back. Anybody who wants to call in with points, questions, and want to contribute, Rufus, please put the number back up on there so I can read the numbers to everybody. So those up in Grand Jita, those in Lofa, those who are in upper, lower Margibi, Firestone area, you're listening to the show, Monrovia, you're listening to the show, please feel free to call in. Rufus is about to put the telephone numbers up on the screen here. So if you want to call in, we have a few more minutes. We'll take some calls. So anybody who wants to call in, telephone number here, Lone Star MTN 0887 105105, or you can call direct on Orange at 0778 665073. Once again, Lone Star MTN 0887 105105 or 0778 665073. Please call in or put a comment on our Facebook page, and so we can listen. Okay, Buford's got a call.
Okay, George, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm George Cooper calling from Mike. You can following the show.
Go ahead. What's your crime or what's your point?
Well, my point is a business. We push on business and then I let it out there.
Okay.
So you try and educating or we following the show.
Okay. Thank you so much for following.
We're very educating or we are very appreciating of it.
Okay. Continue to encourage others to follow with you in our next editions. Okay?
All right.
Okay, you're welcome. So the numbers are 0887-105-105, 0778-665-073. The 77 line, one of these lines gave me a little problem that we need to adjust on quickly. Get it, Chasha, for me. Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Wonderful. What's your name and you join us from where?
Okay, I'm Spencer B. G.D. Saber Jr. I do call from Jackson City, Miami County.
Okay, let's hear you. Let's hear you.
First, let me applaud our role model in studio, Mr. Philip. I seconded a big one from me to you for educating Liberians, because you see the economic system these days in Liberia is very fleeting. We highly appreciate every one of you, because you are educating us. We love the idea and we are following the show. And we pray that we should be unlucky winner one of these days.
Oh, yes. Continue. It's very simple. All you need to do, as you pay attention, take down notes.
Okay.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Okay. 0887-105-105, 0778-665-073. The 77 line, one of the lines have been restored, so all of our lines are up and running. 0887-105-105, 0778-665-073. The numbers to call and ask those questions, or you can give the team pat on the back for the education provided, especially Mr. Phillips, who is a reservoir of knowledge when it comes to the business world. You know, whenever I sit and I just feel relaxed, listen, take down notes. One of these days, and not even one of these days, in the shortest possible time, I'm going to venture into business, because what I learned from you here is this: the salary cannot sustain you. You must be able to get involved into business that's going to back up the salary and expand your earnings. So that's one thing I've learned from you. You can be working to the marshal, or you working to foreign affairs, or wherever you're working. That salary of yours cannot sustain you, because it will just come. It will just like how the bankers can call it escrow account, where it will come, or checking account. Which one? It will come inside and then it transition to another account. It will not. How that is called, Mr. Phillips? How do we call that kind of exchange?
It's a momentary infusion and an instant withdrawal. So they infuse your cash, and then you sit there and you just withdraw and pay out all your bills. So it goes from $1,000 that comes in, and then all of a sudden you start approaching zero after you pay your bills, and you come down at the end, and you end up now with $100. So you need to create a small business so that you will supplement, right? You will supplement and then go from a one-income household to a two-income household. And that's the key. So if you're a married man or you have your partner, you say, okay, you know what? I will get the 9-to-5 job. And then what I'll do, let's make an investment. It may be a popcorn machine, or let's do some kind of small Wi-Fi hotspot, or let's do some kind of money changing booth. So at least that can supplement the income, so that we don't depend 100% on the 9-to-5. Because again, some people in the US will tell you that when you work for someone, you're basically living out or carrying out their dream. Okay, you're carrying out their dream. They dream about this company to have 25 employees, and you're just one of the 25. So you're just carrying out their dream. So when you create your own dream and you just do it in the right way, following the 10 points that we've given everybody here, you follow your 10 points, then you'll be able to succeed. My question to you, Rufus, what did you think about those numbers with regards to the small business, the power and the strength financially in terms of numbers? and also the number of jobs that a small business create within the U.S. compared to Liberia. What do you think about it when I put those numbers up there? How did they come across to you?
Educative. When you started all the process and started to put out the numbers, it brought to mind looking at our economy at the point where it is in the hands of the foreigners. What our government needs to do now is to see reason in empowering these small businesses, because with those small businesses, it energizes the economy. Because, mind you, the Lone Star, like you name a few, those are all how you term it? What's the English word? The people BP English word I want you to say. but that is quite interesting. That is quite interesting. And what we can do here, looking at America to that of Liberia, being specific with the numbers. Liberia, we need to invest more in the small businesses so that we have that relief. That's why you see some people, they only take on government jobs to go and steal, because they feel that the mind of the people now open to the extent where they can fish out whatever that is being that is transitioning from one angle to the other in the business world. Most of our BB people, they get their investment in the foreigners, because when they steal our government money, they put that money in these foreign businesses, that the businesses that are owned by foreigners. But if you have that money and infused into the system where you empower small businesses, I can remember when was that? The last regime, they had this mopping exercise where they will give the money exchanger cash. They said they were going to give money exchanger cash, give smaller businesses, empower them to get on part, so that, and they got a word, to liquidate the economy. So that did not materialize, but we saw a deeper fall into the system, into the economy. Are we there? Internet, don't try that thing again. Is that Phillips?
You can hear me? Hear me? Can you?
Okay. You come in and crack it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
okay. So you've heard about this saying, right? If you give a man a fish, if you give a man a fish, what happens to him tomorrow? He's going to come back to you for another piece of fish for the next day. If you give it to him the second day, what do you think is going to happen on the third day? He will come back to your door. He will be there at 7 o'clock in the morning asking for a piece of fish, right? Okay. But that statement also says, they say, if you give a man a fish, he will always come back to you for a fish, because he will become what we call dependent. Okay. But if you teach the man to fish, you buy him the rod, you put him in the car, you show him where to go and get the bait, and you show him, you say, you see this ocean? All the fish you want to eat is in this ocean. And I will teach you how to get the bait, how to put the bait on the hook, and how to cast the reel into the ocean and catch the fish. If you get here at 6 o'clock, by 12 o'clock, you will have enough fish for the next 2 or 3 days. That guy will never come back to you again to ask you for fish. So the challenge for us as Liberians, and I will put this challenge to all the bankers, the GT banks, the IB banks, the Bloom Bank, the UBA banks, all the bankers, all of them. What role are you playing in the small business sector to teach, to educate small businesses so that they will learn how to fish? This is where the challenge lies. Because if you just give a Liberian businessman $5,000, he would end up hurting himself. He would take the money, either try buying a car, buy a piece of land. He doesn't know the difference between capital investment and profit or anything else. He will end up spending the money, blowing the money, because you didn't help the guy. So it's better that we work together, business talk with any of the bankers you want, you listen to the program, please feel free, call Mr. Rufus Divine. And let's plan, let's put together business training seminars so that the small businesses can register and they can go through a 7-day, 10-day, 15-day, 30-day training so that they truly understand the fundamentals. So that they will, when the banker makes the investment, let the banker play a role in that person's business so that that person can learn and help that person through to become accountable, and that person can ultimately be a success. It's a process. You can't just give people money and expect them to succeed. No, it doesn't work that way. It does not work. And then at the end of the day, they say Liberian businesses are not serious. How can the man be serious? You just bought the man a brand new car. You didn't even ask the man for his driver's license. He doesn't even know the road sign. You gave him the car. He put passengers in the car to be a driver. Next thing you know, they call you that your car with license plate RL 314B just killed 15 people on the road going to Robertsfield. Why? You didn't even ask the guy whether he has a driver's license. So that's why it's important that the bankers who are listening contact Rufus Divine, Connor at Love FM. Let's put the seminars together to educate, to train, and to bring small Liberian businesses up to that level so that when they come to the bankers and get the loans, they will be successful in paying it back. So that's the way it works.
Yes, let's see a minute or two of the time. Rufus, you said you try calling. You can call back. Let's take your calls. 0887-105-105, 0778-665-073, 0887-105-105, 0778-665-073. With just in a minute, we look forward to those calls. If not, we're going to wrap up things here on today's edition of the program Business Talk, your one-stop shop. Hello?
Hello?
Yes. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. My name is Rufus E.L. Diabo, and I've been listening to the following of the show. I would like to use this medium to appreciate my role model, my daddy. I'd like to also appreciate you, Rufus, for this show. This show is an educative show. They have brought me to a point that I need to remold my mind and start doing and taking track of what needs to be done to grow as a businessman. My question has to do with one of the points Mr. Phillips came up with. Excuse me, woman. He said, my question is, how do small businesses play a major role in Liberian economy? For instance, I'm running a business called Easy Calling. I purchased bulk calling from LEC and resell it to communities as well as those that buy recharge every time. But LEC is normally in a habit that calling always goes. So when you invest a cash in this business and you expect $15 as a profit in a week's time, when LEC goes like 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 days, how do the business run and how do you get your profit out of it and you portion of that amount to carry on your daily activities? That is the issue we face as Liberian businesses. So how do small businesses in Liberia play a major role in this economy? Also, Mr. Phillips, for example, on that spot.
Okay, Rufus, thank you. Just keep listening. Hello, Phillips?
Yeah, so very good point, Rufus. Thank you for calling in. So that again, what we during my deliberations today, we talked about the role that so small business as a whole in Liberia play a very, very important role. There's no doubt. They are the largest number, they're the biggest segment of the Liberian economy. There are more small businesses in Liberia, across Liberia, than there are big business. The small businesses create the most amount of jobs in Liberia compared to big business. The small business transact more dollars or Liberian dollars or US dollars in terms of transactional revenue every day compared to big business. But the problem is the small businesses are more inefficient, so they're not profitable compared to the big business. Now, and as I said, electricity plays a very important role. The provision, the supply, the availability, the effective distribution and transmission of electricity, be it from Mount Coffee through solar or through Transco CLSG, that portion of it is what we call the empowerment of small businesses. So small businesses, now that they play a very important role in the economy, if the electricity aspect is not empowering them, then I mean that creates a major problem. So reselling LEC tokens is a good business. However, the very provider you're selling their tokens is not something that is sustainable. So they're not consistent. It's almost like selling Lone Star and Orion Scratch Card, but the network is never on. So if the network is never on, then I mean, why would people even want to buy the card? So if you had 3 or 4 mobile companies in Liberia, the one that has the worst service, more people would not even buy that card. They would say, no, that network doesn't work. But in the issue of electricity, we don't have that option. LEC is the only thing that's there. That's why, selling the tokens is a good business, is a profitable business. However, because you're selling the service of the only provider of electricity in the market, and that provider is inconsistent, unreliable, it presents a major challenge to the sustainability of your business as a whole, because you're 100% dependent on LEC. So when a person buys $50 and puts it into their meter, that $50 is supposed to probably last the person for a week for you to come back and get another sale. But you can't get it for the next 3 weeks because LEC is inconsistent. So I think, again, that's why we're doing the show, so that those who are decision makers can listen, and then probably what they hear, what they listen from here, they can put it into their processes to address things at their level. We're focused on business. We're not focused. This is not a political show. We don't take any political positions. We focus on energizing, educating, and enlightening Liberian businesses. So thank you for the call, Rufus.
Okay, Mr. Phillips, your parting comment?
Well, thank you to everyone. Don't forget, next week the show will be on, and there could be a pop quiz. So make sure you listen to the points about small businesses today. If you're a small business person listening, understand that you're powerful and you play a very important role in the Liberian economy, but your profitability is the key. Make sure you are profitable. So make sure that anything that is not supporting your business, helping your business to grow, cut it, uproot it, and get rid of it and move to profitability. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great week, and let's meet back here next week. Enjoy the day.
To say, and we always say, there are 2 things in this life you always be remembered for: the problems you create and those problems you solve. And you must take responsibility of 2 things in your life: your fortune and all of your misfortune. Because in Union Consult as a show, we've got above our rights to prove, we over or prevail. With hearts and hands, our country cause defending, we meet the foe with valor unpretending. It was wonderful having you following us. We appreciate you. Quickly, let us highlight those who joined us via our live feed. We say thanks to you for joining us. We have the following individuals. We have Jusu Hassan Jr. Thank you. C. Aloysius, Nick News, Guide Neil. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Ophelia N. Williams. Ruth Hills, thank you so much for following as well. We appreciate you so highly for following us. Let's get down. Eddie M. Douye, we thank you so much for following. Eddie, hope we got the name pronounced well. Thank you so much for following us. We are grateful to have you people following as always. So you guys are the MVPs. Rufus TL, Diabo, thank you so much, Rufus, for being a part. And you put forth your calls. We appreciate that. So on this note, this is how we wind down the curtains on today's edition. Let's keep the peace and play it safe. This is the only land we have, and we must take the bull by its horn to have ownership of our own economy. Have yourselves a wonderful and God bless day. Bye-bye.
In 1 hour 30 minutes, we provide listeners with up-to-date information and insights into various aspects of business and finance. We engage in insightful discussions